What's up, gang? Today we have got a full house and we've got a lot going on. We're making this urn, we're finishing off the barking Abbey. We've got these massive hairs that you see behind me. We've got 3 of these to do, and then there's one sat down reading the newspaper, which actually there's 4 in total. So we've got some quite big projects on the horizon, and actually really looking forward to getting them done, because this sculptor here was my first ever customer all about 7 years ago. So actually it is a really great honor to be casting something of this scale when we started off casting stuff this scale. So yeah, come on inside and take a look around. So here we got the kiln on. We've got the preheated kiln. This is also our burnout kiln. So at the moment we've got these ceramic shells in, and we're just preheating these to about 800 degrees. And then from here, we then put them into our sand pit, and then the sand pit gets filled up with sand, naturally, supporting all the shells, and then our bronze gets melted down to about 1100 degrees. We clean off the slag off the top, the impurities, and then we lift it out with our pouring shanks and tongs, and then we pour our bronze into said shells and just hope that they work and that they stay integral and they cast beautiful sculptures. So here are all our shells that are been burnt out. They've been patched up with fire cement, and they're just waiting their turn to go into the kiln. And then basically we've just got this lovely sort of system whereby we burn out, preheat, furnace is on, they go into the sand pit, we fill the bronze up, fill the shells up with bronze, they go outside, cool down, bash the ceramic shell off, they get taken over to Tyler. Tyler then does all the cleaning up, the metal work, and again with Brendan over there, he's doing exactly the same thing. And then with myself, I'm doing the welding and making sure everything's strong, structurally sound, and that everything's sort of in line and looks good, so that then the guys can take the grinders, the die grinders, and just blend in all those weld lines to make it look as if it has all been cast in one piece. So this is something that we cast yesterday, and it just needs to be cleaned up. The ceramic needs to be cleaned off, but even the slightest, smallest textures all come up, look beautifully well. And this is all part of one big sculpture of Ford Abbey, which is based just outside of Wincham in Somerset. Same piece, actually. Funnily enough, I think this little clock tower goes on top of there, around about here, and it's all one big, there's about 5 different sections of building, and they go on 2 hands like this. And so across the 2 hands is this Ford Abbey, and the 2 hands get mounted on a big sort of square base. Do you like my technical drawing? This is where I do all my technical drawings. Tyler is just wire wheeling the bottom section of this big urn we're welding together. This is the middle section, the bottom section, the top section. So I'm just going to go round now, make sure everything's welded up and looks all nice, and then we're going to just grind it all back, blend it all in, and then hope it holds water, because it's got to be filled up with water for the Mad Hatter and the Mad March hare to sit in and be looking lovely, and the water feature just doing its thing. Over the last couple of days, we have poured this massive urn. This is a big dish, and we cast it in 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 sections, and we're just now welding it all together. So I'm just spending a bit of time making sure it all fits, and as you can see, it all fits lovely jubbly, and I'm just welding up those seam lines, and in a minute I'm going to flip it upside down, and we've got this lovely rolling edge which goes along the inside rim, just how we like it. So naturally, when casting sections, as we described in the last episode, you get warpage. And depending on how hot you cast your metal or how cold you cast your metal, sometimes you need to cast it just right so it doesn't actually warp, but that's a very rare thing in my book. And when I say warping, ever so slightly, I'm not on about like banana type warping, just little bits. Now, and I'll show you an example. As you can see here, we've got a slight step up there. And what I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna need to flip this upside down, and I need to sort of bring this section in to meet this section. So I'll do that shortly, but this is just an example of what can happen, but this is completely rectifiable. This isn't a sort of end game, this is just something we have to deal with along the way. So that's sort of something that we've got to deal with. But as you can see, I've started welding these bits that are correct so that when I do pull this down, this isn't popping. So this all stays the same, but this end will just sort of pull down and meet this bit, which then makes it integral. And actually, all of this is looking really lovely. It's just a shame that that bit there just needs popping down. So yeah, that's just an example of what can happen. Basically, the furnace needs a little top up, but the space will not hold a full ingot. So I'm just making this so that it can fit into the furnace. But beforehand, we just heat it up so that the moisture evaporates out of the metal. And if you can see now on that bronze, you can see the dark patches, and you see now it drying out. If you were to put that into a molten hot pot of lava, then you would have a massive splash, explosion, eruption of hot molten metal, and we don't need that in our lives. Three. Spin it round. Stay there, hang on. Well, get that side. Don't let that fall, whatever you do. Got it? Yeah. Have you actually? Yeah. And there we have it. Now that is a beast of an urn. So what we've got is it welded on the underside. So now what I've got to do is go on the inside and weld up the seams on the inside as well. And those pieces that I told you about earlier that I need to just bring this section up. So I need to basically weld a contraption that allows me to sort of get a good grip, and I can almost pull that up. Or I make a light incision slice there, make 3 slices, and then it's just going to pull up nice and neat. Because I've welded it everywhere, it's super strong. So you're not going to pull a section that sort of tight with just your hands. You need a little bit of help. So if we make a little concertina incision with the grinder, little cutting disc, and when we just pull it up, we close the gap that we made with the grinding disc, and as it pulls, it closes, we weld it up, and that then just pulls in theory. The cool thing about it is, It's level! It's level! It ain't going nowhere. Speak too soon. So this is the rolling lip that sort of sits on the edge. So it gives the urn a real lovely elegance to it. But I've just got to find out the best place for it to start, because as you can see, it's got a lovely curve to it. But I'm going to tack weld all of these pieces together to make a full circle, and then we're just going to sort of drop it down onto the edge. And then I'm going to weld it all together and really blend it in to make it look really nice and smooth. It's going to be tricky, but I think we can do it.